Morning, Captain.
Morning, Commissioner.
Are you ready?
I'm ready, Commissioner.
Captain, I think maybe let's just clarify that issue. You've already dealt with it in your statement, where witness A and witness B say you are the one who told them that the weapons that were seized in the Bremley and Vereeniging scenes were linked to 18 other cases. Are they mistaken when they say it was you who told them that?
Commissioners, you mean when I dealt with 18 cases?
Yes.
No, Commissioners. The 18 cases is a separate thing, Commissioner.
Yeah.
The 18 cases is the cases that were identified by IBIS.
Yes.
Yes. But at a time of doing the ballistic case, that information was not in my possession.
Yes.
I didn't have that information.
So you could not have told them that?
I could have not told them that.
Because as you say in your statement, the IBIS issue was only in late 2025.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Yeah. So I think let's leave that. And then I identified 4 errors, and I want you to, for our peace of mind, because in your statement you don't explain what the reasons for those errors are. And maybe this is what has led to this suspicion that maybe you deliberately omitted information from ballistics reports, or you included misleading information in ballistics reports. So I'm hoping that you will give us an innocent explanation for these errors. But I want to first identify them there in your statement. So if you start on page 8, paragraph 34. Just let me know once you are there.
I'm there, Commissioners.
So you'll see that the first changes you were asked to make were in June 2024.
That's correct.
You say in your statement, it is worth mentioning that when making the changes in the report, before issuing them to witness B in June 2024, I did not print. And that was because Colonel Monakadi had highlighted amendments that needed to be made.
That's correct.
Yes, so that's the first one. And then the second one is on page 9 at paragraph 38. Where you say, on 21 October 2024, I received an email from Colonel Mutsepe, one of our commanders in the ballistics section, instructing me to attend to queries that Senior Prosecutor Gauthier had sent to him regarding the errors in the ballistics report. Do you see that?
That's correct,
So that's the second one. And then you go to page 11, paragraph 42. On 6 November 2024, are you there?
I'm there, Commissioner.
Yes, on 6 November 2024, Senior Prosecutor Gauthier sent me an email requesting the Section 212 statement for the ballistics analysis conducted in respect of the additional exhibits in the Vereeniging case. I sent the report. And then the following paragraph, however, I noted an error on page 3 of the report. So that's the case number issue. Do you see that?
That's correct.
Yes. And then the last one is in paragraph 44, where now you end up getting this call from witness B in January 2025 that the case will be going to court and they want certain amendments to be made, because if they are not attended to, the case might be struck off the roll. Do you see that?
I see that, Commissioner.
Yes. So those errors, what were the reasons for those errors? I mean, can you just explain to the Commission? Are they innocent, or were you really trying to sabotage the investigation into the murder of Mr. Swart?
Thank you, Commissioners. Commissioner, let me first go to the last one, the page 11, paragraph 44. Commissioners, paragraph 44 is the call that I received from witness B, that there is an error on the statement. It's not the error that I identified or someone else identified this. And there was no error that was corrected here. The witness B told me that there is an error. However, the main reason it was to call me out, not necessarily there was an error. As I indicated that it cannot be correct that witness B can come to my home for correction of error. So even the statement that the witness B had on that day was the last entry of the statement, which didn't have any error. That was the statement from the bullet from the body. So it is not correct to say this is paragraph 4 referred to an error. Paragraph 4, they were using the word error so that they can have me close to them. Because there is no any other way they can say, come, we want to see you. I will refuse. But when they say there is an error, this is my statement, there is an error and the statement is going to court, I get surprised. And when they say the case will be struck off the roll, then I stand up and say, let me meet the investigating officer, because we cannot afford to see criminals out on the street because I am on leave. But there was no error here for this paragraph.
The other three?
The first one, I think is paragraph 34. Paragraph 34. Paragraph 34 is the procedure of the laboratory. Procedure of the laboratory is every case file, once finalized, once you have done working on it, it goes to review. And almost out of 10 cases that goes to the review, 8 will be back with errors for correction, without any deliberate to do anything for any analyst who is working at the lab. That can be caused by so many factors, including pressure and time. So, meaning, if this error was corrected and there were not any other error, the investigating officer were not even going to be aware that there was an error on the statement, because it will have been corrected. All of the statement passed through that route. So this is the normal operation of the ballistics. Then, when I go to the other mentioned errors which existed, whereby there were exchange of pages and what, that one, Commissioner, I can safely say those were typing errors, and those typing errors were supposed to be picked up at the reviewing process, but was not picked up at the reviewing process. I cannot indicate as to for what reason, but I can say it amounts to work pressure as well. Commissioners, before you type a statement, by nature, an expert is not a typist, but we are doing our own typing, and we are given 20 minutes to type a statement, regardless of how many pages the statement has. So possibility of errors will be there. But there is performance, because when you examine a case, you use the performance. The performance will have correct information However, reducing that information into a typing is a separate thing. And when we are given 20 minutes to do that, typing errors do occur. That is why when there is an error, the first thing you do at the lab, when they say it's an error, even when it comes from the review, when they say you have written the wrong back number, you don't just change it. You go to your proforma to see exactly what handwritten on the proforma. Because when you open a case, you take a proforma, you take a case, you put it here. There is no typing there. You write the back number on a proforma. You write back number that you received. You write the contents, what is in the bag. Later on, you are done with the examination. You reduce that into writing, into typing, which is not your area of specialty. That is why always there will be an error on the typing side, not on the proforma side. And at all times, we accept those mistakes and we accept to make corrections, because the only thing that goes to court is not proformas now. It should be the 2-1-2 statement. And our system commissioners at the lab, it doesn't accommodate members reviewing their own cases. Meaning, when you are done with typing, you are not given any further minutes to recheck your work. When they give you a case has got allocated a particular amount of time. Once they say you do this case, you are going to do this case because 10 minutes is for typing, 20 minutes is for typing, 2 hours is for examination, 10 minutes is for returning the firearms to the safe. Then the day is finished. So we do not focus on the quality, we focus on the quantity. And the whole reason why we focus on the quantity is not the correct thing, but is true. It's because of the number of cases we have versus the number of staff we have.
So it's innocent mistakes attributable to time pressures and work pressures and other things.
That's correct.
Nothing sinister, nothing malicious.
Nothing, commissioners.
Yes, Mr. Musegiri.
Oh, thank you, Chair. Just to piggyback from the exchange you had with Commissioner Kumalo on the what you attribute to these errors, and we would not want to assume, or at least peddle the belief that you deliberately manipulated the report. But for me, what I want to say to you is that the errors that you committed were quite material to the outcome of the matter cases. For example, the 3 errors that we spoke about. The first error is that you were asked by Warrant Officer Malan to say, link the murder weapon to the crime scene, and you failed to do that. So the report that you issued, it does not draw a link between the murder weapon and the murder scene. You accept that? As it stood, as you handed the first report to witness B.
Commissioners, the first report, in respect of that error, doesn't say I didn't link the murder, because the murder weapon to the cartridge cases, because we've got 3 type of results in respect of examination of a fired cartridge cases and a firearm. You've got either positive match, negative match, or inconclusive.
And in your case, you say it's what?
In my case, because I didn't mention 4.9, that doesn't mean I said negative. It doesn't relate to a negative finding. If you go to the annexure LIL, LIM 1.
Yes, that's page 19.
And then you go to page 23. Then, this is microscopic results, commissioners. You go to the second part. The first part deals with the bullets. The second part deals with CC. CC means cartridge cases. I am saying cartridge cases 193045 of 24, AA3A, up to AA30. That is the 15 cartridge cases. And I further say is 7.62 by 39 millimeter. That is AK-47. Positive to cartridge case. Positive to, now I include a different lab number because I compare it with Bramley now, which is 193045 of 24. 363 TC1 and 363 TC2. These are tests fired from the same rifle, commissioners. Now, commissioners, the proforma is here. The results are documented
Captain,
here.
I have to stop you.
Oh, thank you.
This document, as far as I understand it, it is not the document that was handed to witness B. Is that correct?
That's correct, commissioners.
Yes. So I'm saying to you, the document that you handed as a report of the outcome of the work that you were showing us that you did not give a positive link. That's why there was a need for you to rectify it or to amend as it were. That's a simple proposition, and I think you already...
Yes, I accept that, commissioners.
Yes. Now, the only proposition I'm putting to you is that error is quite material. It's important to the outcome of any criminal proceedings, because if you cannot link ultimately the crime scene with a murder weapon, someone will go scot-free. You accept that?
I accept that, commissioners.
Thank you.
And just for completeness, the document that is being referred to starts on page 52 and it ends at page 60, and the errors are on page 58 at paragraph 10.2 and 10.6.
Which pages are we in?
Same file on page 58.
On page 58.
But the report Advocate Musigidi is referring to starts on page 52 and ends at page 60.
That's correct,
But the
commissioners.
linkages that are the cause of all the problems in paragraphs 10.2 and 10.6, that's where the error is.
That's correct, commissioners, on page 58.
Yes. And his point is that it is material because if you had to go to a criminal case with this report, the defense will have a field day. And this could result in an acquittal or something like that.
That's correct, commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Kumelo. Captain, another error that we identified to add to the list of errors that Commissioner Kumalo just discussed with you is the issue of the etching of one of the weapons which did not have a serial number. Now, if you go to page, on file 2, on page 128, so the second file, the bigger file of the two. Yes.
Mr. Musigidi, is there any detailed questioning along these lines necessary? It just may undermine the criminal process that's still to come. whether rightly or wrongly, the witness has simply said these were inadvertent errors. And I'm not so sure that going into much detail either assists us or or worse still does not potentially cause damage to the criminal process that's still to come.
I have that debate in my mind, Chair, as to the possible implications to the other ongoing matter, and without giving much. All I wanted to say, because what we want to do, and I wanted to be fair to him, to say that we would want to make recommendations to you to say that, and I wanted to be fair to him to make a comment to say that the errors that he committed, it's either they were attributed to gross negligence or probably an act of incompetence. That's all that you wanted to lay the basis for, because these are serious errors, and he can comment.
Thank you. Do you wish to comment on the last comment that Mr. Musigiri made, Captain?
Yes, let me comment, commissioners. Commissioners, typing error, commissioners, cannot be classified as to how the council is putting it. At the laboratory, commissioners, we've got two types of errors. We've got allow me to refer to these commissioners, because it was not available at the time of, it is not an annex, because it was not available at the time of doing the statement. We've got a critical and non-critical errors. So, if I may explain to you, Council, non-critical errors includes, is 4 categories. Is incorrect dates on an affidavit, defects or H results not confirmed, administrative errors, and log numbers. Those are non-critical errors. And I will believe that those errors that the council is leading me with falls within this category. So it cannot be incompetence or deliberate. What is the other one?
Negligence.
Negligence. But as I already indicated, commissioners, that the errors will arise time to time as long as there is still pressure at the lab. The errors will always be there, because we push quantities, not quality. The errors will arise, not intentional errors.
That's a very disturbing observation in the criminal justice system. It's a very, very disturbing observation.
I know.
I understand the background you give for the observation, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a very disturbing observation.
Yes, just to put again on that point, commissioners, there is a program that is called Labware, which is now on existence, because every single time when a problem is identified, it's subject to be reviewed and methods to be changed. At the moment we are using, it's actually going to be on place. I think this month or next month, because we are running a trial of that. Labware, where when we type, it has an option where we type the statement on a labware. And the labware, when you type the statement, the 212 on a statement, every single time you make changes, it keeps the original. It keeps, you can refer back as up to 14 of that statements that on this date, you made changes here. On this date, you made changes here. And it records the errors as well, because we are trying by all means to minimize the errors to zero. And then at that stage, we will know whether further training is needed to a person or the system needs to be changed. Because some errors are caused by the system itself when the system is not correct.
Chair, last two questions for the captain. Captain, what does not sit well with us, and this is part of the recommendations that we want to make, is that at least on the face of it, on the errors that you committed, that we say are material, what seems to happen is that few months later, you are actually rewarded with a promotion to being a captain. What do you have to say about that?
That I cannot comment, commissioners, because that was a post advertised, and just like all other applicants, we were shortlisted and we went for an interview, and fortunately I got the post. So with or without this case, commissioners.
Yes, that's fine. The last question really, Captain, and on a more serious note, do you still persist seriously now with the allegation that, knowing what we know and your own testimony and your own interaction with the commissioners and the chairperson, do you still seriously persist that you were kidnapped by witness B?
Commissioners, that one, commissioners, because I opened a case, and I opened a case based on the incident that happened. And I assume when a case is opened, it should go through the processes of all the cases. I cannot determine whether the case should or should not be. That will be the prosecutor in the prosecutor's decision whether they enroll the case or not, commissioners. But looking into the sequence and how I felt about the incident that night, there is only one organization that I can run to. SAPS. And SAPS will follow, like any other citizens of the country, will open a case and send it for the decision.
But at all material times, you were kidnapped at SAPS premises. But anyway, that's just a comment. Chair, those will be our questions for the witness.
Thank you, Mr. Musigiri.
Captain, it seems like we need VAR there by Silverton, because there are serious shortcomings with the reviews and the reviewers, and how the 212s simply go through the process. And you say we type, we push numbers and not quality. Therefore, we may need VAR in that department. You know what VAR is?
Yes, I know, commissioners. And just can I add on that, commissioners? Not on the VAR part. Commissioners, the laboratory, just like when I joined the laboratory some 20 years back, we used to receive few cases I'm definitely sure Brigadier Mkabela maybe testified about that. We used to get few cases, and today we are getting a lot of cases, and so many things hasn't changed. And the cases itself, the type of crimes are totally different. 20 years back, we used to have pistol cases. You find 9mm firearms. Lately now, there is a lot of rifles, full automatic rifles. Examinations of such are different from examinations of then. But the time allocated for you to work those cases remains the same. So by that, something is going to be compromised. Because today when somebody goes and commit a crime with firearm, they don't do it with a revolver because they know revolver is limited, can carry only 6 rounds. They need a weapon that can carry about 40, 50 rounds. And that weapon today, you still examine it like you are examining the revolver 20 years back. You are still given the same amount of time to do that. So those are shortcomings, but I believe the laboratory is working hard on that as well to try to improve that.
Mr. Musigiri,
No follow-up questions, Chair.
thank you. Captain, thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioners.
You are excused. We will adjourn and resume tomorrow at 9:30. Thank you.